Hey, I'm Pops. Let's do another comic book talk review here. The Fantastic Four, the new series. And I had to do some legwork. I was like, I saw this cover. I'm going to get to this cover in just a moment. And it hooked me. Like, I gotta find out what's going on with this. This is crazy, right? And then I look at the first few pages, and I'm like, oh, the art's not like that. The art actually is not horrible. Ryan North, Ivan Coelho is the artist. But the Alex Ross covers were odd for the story, and I thought to myself, okay, well, let me jump in here. Let me take a look. Let me see what I'm looking at, because this was so strange. And I'm like, okay, hold on. Pink, purple, light blue. I'm like, oh no. Even Ross is using the wrong color palettes for comic books that I would like. And then I'm like, why did they reboot it? Like, what has happened? And I go, of course. So here's what I did. I did a little bit of legwork, and I found, references to this AXE, this Axe Judgment Day thing. I thought, oh, okay, so the Fantastic Four was judged negatively. They were eliminated from the Marvel universe. Something that would make no. It's this very generic story where it's all about Sue. Sue's the key to everything. She's just so genius. Reed is in his office, not really doing anything but contemplating a solution. His solution is, I want to be judged as a dad and a husband. Uh, Thing is, Ben's just doing thing, and then Johnny like flies a car through the window for like a pizza delivery guy jokes, and I'm like, this is awful and just uninteresting. Like, this is just what is happening. So I thought, all right, well, fine. Let's just roll with it. Let's figure out what they're trying to accomplish here. Let's get into the story a little bit. Let me find something to talk about. And I thought, well, wait, the art is actually not that bad. Like, I thought, oh, this isn't horrible. It definitely didn't align with what was on the cover. And I'm like, okay, it's just Ben and Alicia. It's called the last town on the left. And basically it's just them in this little place with this little story, and it's just this forgettable little nonsensical story. Like, I just didn't really care that much. Like, I was like, what is happening? And then it ends with like mystery box, and I'm like, no, 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 come on, we have to stop doing. There's no action in the book, by the way. It's just mostly them talking, walking around. Someone tries to drive a truck at the thing, things like, it's just whatever. There's ghosts in the story, basically. And there's a little clever little story, but the most important thing that happens is that there is this ending. Something bad has happened. There you go. And I'm like, oh my gosh, didn't we just get away from this for Amazing Spider-Man? It was basically the exact same kind of thing. Like, it's, oh, the Fantastic Four did something bad, and now we're going to have ramifications. I kid you not. That is how things start. So the first issue is that it's Alicia and Ben. The second issue is Sue and Reed sitting around at like a restaurant, and they're in sort of a situation with well, it's being narrated as though Sue is writing a letter to Jen, She-Hulk, and it's very much about Reed did something wrong, and now they're trapped in some sort of story where there are Doombots. Yeah, Doombots. I can't stand the name. I can't even. Now, you do get moments where Reed does cool things, but like, everyone hates the Fantastic Four, and there's all of this. So that's pretty much how that story goes. And then issue number 3 is even more irritating, because it's like, now it's Johnny Storm's time, and he's like a regular dude, and they make him like a surfer bro. I kid you not. Like, I was like, what? And he's here. Let me get to the right thing here. Because I was like, what is happening? Yeah, he's like surfer bro fighting like he's fighting a tornado in the beginning, and he I kid you not, this is crazy. So their idea for Johnny is he is going to dye his hair create a fake persona, and then this is fake persona. Johnny Storm is going to pretend to be Jonathan Fairweather. Get it? Johnny Storm, Jonathan Fairweather. And he is going to talk a lot about he's late, he's terrible. And then he basically, the solution is about job, like an abusive boss, and they should have a union or not. And oh my gosh, it's just unbearable. I'm like, what on earth are we doing? This is not the Fantastic Four. Like, nothing feels like the Fantastic Four. Now, the saving grace is, at least in the next issue, we resolve the Fantastic Four's bad thing that they did. And that's kind of what we have. We have this. And well, again, the art is not bad. I don't know why we have Alicia in harm's way, by the way. She's constantly there. So here's a story that's happening. They're fighting, and you have all these kids, and the story goes down that basically Reed has to make a decision, and it's awful, and it creates that like crater and that nuclear explosion type impact in this area, and it's all this devastation is done, and people hate the Fantastic Four now. Reed's an idiot. He does some other thing that was quote the only thing that could be done, and yet it's a complete debacle. The kids are now missing. We don't know how long. We assume it's about a year, and there's all this back and forth about what have you done and why did you do it. And then there's another issue. The next issue has to do with some random dude from the past. What is his name? Let me look at it real quick. Oh, that's right. Scratch, right? Dr. Nicholas Scratch. Yeah. So we have this reference to this character that was introduced like years ago. So Ryan North's dusting off some old character and his kids. And the entire episode is that them they fight for a few minutes, and then all of a sudden they leave, just up and leave. And you have these comments about magic and a dark dimension, and the whole issue is spent with them having to go into the dark dimension and do things. But Reed is an idiot because he doesn't really know what he's doing, even though you have these cool moments where he does things, stretching and whatever. Like here's one. Let me show you this one. The art does some interesting things of him stretching and doing cool things. He has a cool thing with his eye. He does these crazy things that you've not really seen Mr. Fantastic do, or we haven't really gotten to experience these type of things. But reality is he's a dope. He's messed things up again. This time it has to do with the environment. It's created a mirror universe out of the dark universe. Everything's backwards. So, and now nothing works right. So now, like, here's an algae bloom because see that everything's backwards, so it can't synthesize oxygen and stuff properly or whatever. And their solution, again, Reed, these grand ideas, is block the sun out for 3 days. Like, send Sue and Johnny into space to block the sun, Highlander 2 style, and it's about as dumb as Highlander 2 was. And then for some reason, their idea is to use Alicia as their spokesperson. So yeah, here's Alicia, who, by the way, walks around rather well without a cane. Oh, she does have a cane. I'm sorry. My apologies. It blends into the other design of the stage that I didn't even notice it. Yeah, she's the spokesperson. She just starts talking, and she's supposedly going to help with the fact that they're literally blocking out the sun. No other heroes are involved. Again, this is the same problem I have with like Disney Plus, this connected universe you have where you have things that are happening, but evidently all of the other characters in that universe are just going to be occupied doing something else. Maybe they all wanted an extended nap for a couple of days. And thanks to Sue using her force field to blot out some of the sun's rays so the algae will die. And the fact that this has all been magic related and Doctor Strange would not be involved, yet Reed and Steven are obviously friends and know each other. It just makes zero sense. It's just so dumb. And this Johnny, this version of Johnny, this surfer bro with his mustache and goatee and just trying to be super chill all the time, but he's also dopey because Um, he only remembered to keep the flame proof boy shorts. So yeah, this is what happens this whole time. All this stuff happens. I don't. I'm sort of beside myself, guys. I wish I knew what to tell you guys. Um, we're now like 6 issues in, and there's no real superhero stuff going on. And then we get Doctor Strange, and I don't know about you. I'm really having a hard time with the Alex Ross covers because they're really not impressive to me, like they normally are. Like there's something that's just very muted or uninteresting about them. And I think it's maybe because he just keeps doing these types of things with the way he handles the foreground. Obviously, all these Avengers are in the background because of Doom. And this is just Doom is so okay, so because they're enemies of the good. See, the world hates them so much for blocking out the sun, they have to retreat to Aunt Petunia's cabin. Yeah. And Doom is going to show up and completely overpower them, like completely be like super. Oh, by the way, we waste so many pages of them talking and working on the roof and just talking before you get to Doom. And this ghost thing shows up. It's not really a ghost; it's just Doom. And this is all going on here. And he just takes them. He takes care of them without any problem whatsoever. And he has this incredible idea of hijacking the time travel to save the kids so they don't have to be stuck in the loop that Reed created. Um, and he's kind of like he's going through history and he's thinking he's also smarter than Reed, which he's not, but he's so arrogant. And it's just this awful back and forth process of him time jumping and failing over and again. And we have to kind of flash through some historical moments and his failures and things like that. Time travel stuff just drives me nuts because it's never done right. It's never interesting. And you have just tons of like just Easter egg stuff is what you get. You basically just get Easter egg stuff. You get a Galactus reference. You get, here, let me pull that up so you guys can see. Because again, the art's not terrible. It's what you get. You get like a Galactus reference. Then you get like your Avengers references, which is what was on the cover. Um, so you got all these different things that are happening, but it's just him jumping around, and the story basically is not that Sue or Reed figure it out. It's the fact that Doom helps his other self stop the loops. Then I just wanted to make one other point because this is such a pet peeve of mine, and I am so sick of this nonsense. Here we go. Here we go. Right there. Here we go. I can't stand this. I'm done. I'm done with this. This is if you see it right there. Oh, it doesn't work like that. I got to go to this one. Yeah. See issue 700. See, we are now on, I believe, volume 8. Yeah, 8. Uh, get that right. So Fantastic Four started in the 60s and lasted for hundreds and hundreds of issues, and then they have to reboot it. They've rebooted it like that many times. And if we hadn't rebooted, this would be the 700th issue. So they want to do something special. They want you to think that this is remotely special by putting Doctor Doom in issue 700 in a nonsensical time travel storybook. And yet it's rebooted. It's like it's gimmicks on top of gimmicks while they mock us who like gimmicked back in the 90s, by the way. So this book just sort of like abruptly ends with the Doctor Doom stuff and Sue who saves the day, and then Alicia feeling bad for Doom, basically. Before we get to issue number 8. And I have to be honest, with issue 8, I was just sort of like checked out because what they do, they literally are just talking. They're just talking and chatting each other up and literally go shopping. They're literally just shopping. And you end up in some sort of like, what could possibly be going on type story? Because it's the same thing that's happened before. It was the same thing that happened with issue 1 with Ben and Alicia, and then issue 2 with Sue and Reed in the restaurant. It's like this loop of things are messed up and they're all out of whack. and I'm assuming there's going to be more mystery box type things that remotely are going to make Ryan North feel like he wrote something clever, and I don't find any of it clever. Oh, this was also just absolutely retarded. So, oh my gosh. So Johnny comes up with the idea to basically create a flame version of himself. Flamo, yes, Flamo, a perfect duplicate of myself made out of fire. My fiery friend who's always fixing the flight. Yep, fixing the fight. Flamo. I can control him so I can be in two places at once, angry and confusing our varied enemies. A fire buddy. I don't believe this. It's like, I can absolutely believe this. Well done, Jay. I'm actually really pleased with Flamo. Johnny, will you excuse us for a moment? Uh-huh. Johnny's the same as the others, rationalized anything he could do to make reality square with his belief that Reed and Ben never existed. Then when you go on with the story, and I kid you not, this is the story. The story is something as oh no, so that was the last story. The last story when Doom was there is they lost their ability to use certain letters in the alphabet. I kid you not. And here we just have this random thing that happened just out of the blue, by the way. While you were gone, yeah, this happened. Listen, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. This isn't the Fantastic Four. This isn't the first family of Marvel. This isn't Reed being a super genius, because now Sue is also super smart. She uses words that are way beyond her vocabulary as a normal person. So I don't know what we're doing over there. I don't know why this needed to be rebooted. I don't know why they think this is remotely engaging or interesting or dynamic or any of those elements. It is just frivolous tripe. The Fantastic Four have been reduced to frivolous tripe. Complete waste of my time. So I did 8 issues in a few minutes for you, so now you don't have to. There you go. There's my brand. There you are. You're all caught up on Fantastic Four 2022. What a waste of my freaking time. And hopefully yours is at least better suited with the 15 minutes or 20 minutes or so you spent with me instead of having to read this for yourself. So, thanks for guys for watching. I appreciate you so much. I am Pops.
Yeah. Right?